Wake the fuck up. It's time to talk business. Jared Taylor, Matt Best, and Evan Hafer proudly present Blackhearted. Sponsored by BlackRifle Coffee Company and Arson Wave.
Yeah. God, that intro never. I just want it to last forever.
We could do that probably.
Hey, fuck talking business. Let's talk about music.
Yeah. Now you're talking
Yeah.
Well,
why don't you guys have a music podcast?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Starting tomorrow.
Black Chords podcast. I don't know. Hello, Nick Palmisciano.
Thanks for having me.
It's
Absolutely.
Palmisciano.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's
No.
I've been pronouncing it wrong
I know,
this
it's
entire
Pal-
time.
it's
That's
Palmisciano.
definitely not what it is.
That should be the topic of the podcast. How many people fuck up your last name?
Almost everybody.
Palmisciano.
Palmisciano.
Yeah, probably the most common is
Palmisciano.
Palmisciano is what a lot of people say.
In Britain.
Ooh, I like that one. It sounds more gangster.
It sounds a little gangster,
What is
it?
you know. So it's Americans pronounce it Palmisciano, and in Italy it'd be more like Palmisciano.
Palmisciano. Can I start calling you?
Palmisciano.
Yeah.
Palmisciano.
And in the UK, they pronounce it aluminium.
What?
It's true.
It's really good.
All right. Well, today's business topic is a special one that we hold dear to our hearts.
yeah.
That we call Everyone Will Fuck You.
And not in the sense of like my, Instagram inbox, like fucking you in business.
Yeah.
Everyone will fuck you.
Everybody.
That is the
Everyone.
unfortunate truth.
The-
There is a short list of people that I have not been fucked by.
That we talked about. That was a big joke about him making a giant plaque with like lots of room. It says
it's
people
people
that
that-
haven't fucked
Oh,
me,
yeah.
and it's
Like-
just two.
Yeah, like
two names.
like a 14-foot wall that's just like people that haven't fucked me. And it's like the three of you, Tim Kennedy, John Tackett, there's like five people.
Right.
So everybody just gets a little plaque.
And then there's just a bunch of places
Blank
where you
plaques.
see plaques have been ripped off the wall.
Yeah.
No, but it's a good conversation because part of what the last episode we talked about was disruptive intent, and kind of the whole reason that company got started was because so many of us have been fucked over in certain business endeavors that it came to the point, just like in the military, you're like, fuck it, if you want it done correctly, you got to do it yourself.
Yeah, it's the unfortunate truth. It's really weird because people are in business for years, right? They do one thing and they claim to be good at that one thing, and yet almost nobody hits deadlines. Almost nobody does what they say they're going to do. It's always overpromise and underdeliver, and never the opposite. And you would think that wouldn't be the case,
Right.
but I don't know how people are in business. I really don't. I don't know how they stay in business, but that's most people.
Well, we don't want to be most people.
Well, and I think like when we started the Veteran Business Alliance, that was the premise of it, in the sense of I wanted to be able to have a place where you could still do a handshake agreement and know that it's going to be right place, right time, right uniform. And if it's not, the 200 plus people in that group will condemn your actions because, hey, this is the deal that we went for. The premise of it is just that we're going to police with peer pressure. So instead of a guy knocking off early and just kind of like, oh, fuck it, I'll just go black for a couple of days, put my head in the sand, pretend like the fucking problem doesn't exist.
Yep.
Because how many times does that happen to you?
Always.
Oh, fuck yeah.
That's always just whenever I meet somebody in business and I'm like, hey, how long will this take? And I want it to happen in 3 weeks, but they're like, you know what? This is really going to take 7 weeks. I love that person.
Yeah.
They're so rare because even though it's not what I want to hear, even though they know that this might hurt their ability to get business, they're telling me the truth. Mm-hmm. And they're building in a buffer most of the time. So they'll say 7, deliver in 6, and then I'll be happy.
Right.
But you can set expectations with the customer. You can make a decision to delay launch. You can do all kinds of things. You get into trouble when people guarantee something and then they miss the deadline.
Right.
Because it really just comes down to, there are customer expectations, and then there's what you deliver to the customer. And the customer's happiness is that delta.
Yeah.
If you say it's going to be there the 5th and it gets there the 6th, even though that's only a day, the customer is upset.
Yep.
Whereas if you say it's going to be there the 25th and it gets there the 6th, the customer is now happy because it's early. This is a really simple premise, but no one gets it. And when we say get fucked, I'm not talking about things happening, because if you're in business long enough, I don't care who you are, I don't care how good you are, you will miss things. Something will happen. Like if it's a shirt, the shirt gets printed wrong. The coffee is burnt. There's a bean shortage you didn't expect. Like things will happen. It's when it's just promise after promise that is missed, and you just see that the effort is not there to remedy the situation, and you're dying, and like you're under the gun, and the walls are closing in, and your customers are pissed, and your vendor just doesn't care.
Right.
And they're like, well, I got it to you. Like, that's cool, right? Like, that's good enough. And it isn't. But you take all the heat, you take all the damage, the vendor just delivers whenever they want.
Well, because it's not a problem that they have to address directly, because ultimately that liability is going to fall on your company's, the culture of your company, your branding, everything. So to them, it's like, they'll figure it out. It might be tough, but they'll figure it out. They're not as emotionally invested as you are as an owner, where one fuck up to a customer can mean that that's not a repeat customer, and you can do all the data analytics. That could be lifetime of customer. Let's just throw a number. It could be $12,000, and that's huge on a company.
It's a huge amount of money, but more than that, it's all of us in this room, we are our businesses. We're not Nike, where like no one knows who the VP of sales is or whatever. Like everybody knows. Like if you're talking about BlackRifle Coffee, you're talking about Evan Hafer. You're talking about Leadslingers Article 15. You're talking about you guys, talking about Ranger Up. You're talking about me. You're talking about Jack Mandeville, like Tim Kennedy, so when we miss, it's not just like, like an order was late. It's, you have somebody that is now looking at all of us in a different way. Like, is Nick not a man of his word? Right. Is Evan not a man of his word? Like,
well, and I think to go along that line as well, social media I call them like social media businesses is what we run, and the dynamics of it is so much more different than like a corporate entity, because whether or not you are accessible to the customer, you are, because you have a public figure page and whatever. If you get 10,000 messages a day, that message that they still send is like, oh, is Nick a bitch because he won't write me back? And you're like, you don't understand. And I don't mean to use that term, because I've been called that the same for, and you're like, fuck, man, managing. So
thousands of messages on Facebook, personal emails, messages on Twitter, messages on Instagram. The upside of being involved in social media is that we can reach out and directly tell the customer exactly what we think and how we feel. And, the upside or downside, however you look at it, is they can reach out and touch you right back. And when things go bad, it is thousands of people reaching out and telling you, and there just is almost no way to get to everybody in a fast enough period of time.
And managing channels, you have a customer that writes you on like a old Twitter account, and they're like, I fucking wrote your customer service. So it's like, kind of channeling all those, avenues of outreach from the customer into one customer service. It can be very challenging, because I mean, we see it all the time. Like Rocco will get a customer service issue, and you're like, well, okay, well then we have to forward it like 9 things, and like the optimization of that customer workflow like is drastically inhibited by like all these social media channels.
Absolutely. Yeah. And sometimes you answer somebody on one channel, they wrote you on 3, and then you're trying to marry it up. It's like, did this all happen? But the situation that I was just in, that we're, the big reason why we're involved in disruptive intent is not only was this third party controlling fulfillment, but they were also controlling customer service, because they had to, because they were the ones that were shipping the product. So if somebody were to write to me, the only thing I could do is pick up the phone and say, like, did this ship? Can you ship it? So with us, what happened is when things got really bad, their customer service fell way behind. So they were 2-3 weeks behind. I don't truly have visibility, and I didn't even know. Right. And so the social media hate starts jumping, like, you're not answering me. You're not answering me. Where's my order? What's going on? And you're in a situation where you don't even know what to tell people. Like in the old days when we had it all in-house, even if we screwed up, you could just walk to the rack and say, look, I don't have this shirt. because whatever happened, but I'm going to grab you like 2 shirts for free as an apology. I'm still going to get you this shirt. I'm so sorry, you know, and you can solve the problem. Maybe it's not exactly what the customer wants, but you can do something. In this situation, I learned firsthand that the only people that care about your customer like you do, you know, is your organization, because there was no desire to resolve the situation. Right. You just kick it down the road. Oh, that's going to be printing soon. Don't worry about it. Like, if a customer's been waiting for a month, 2 months, you can't just tell them you've got to wait. You've got to do something. Right. But there is no incentive for a third party to do something, no matter what they say. You know, I'm a partner, I'm this, I'm that. The third party just wants to do the job that they are going to make money for.
Well, it's clockwork. They're checking in, and you know they're not going to say, I'm fucking 2 weeks behind on orders. Let me stay till 1 a.m. Like, I know you've done plenty of times at your business, or slept there and done it. Yeah. You don't have the ability. And, you know, those are, I think, decisions that, you know, probably a lot of people have made in business where on face value and paper value, like, this is a great decision for my business because I can ship orders quicker. They're going to be fulfilled. They're going to manage operations a little more. So that gives me a lot more time to focus on marketing and creative content and all these things. And then they completely like underproduce. And that's not even the correct word, like hemorrhage.
Yeah.
The soul out of your business.
Yeah. And you nailed it. Like, that was the intention. The intention was, we looked at our business and said, hey, we're good at creating content. We're good at creating shirts. We're good at marketing. We're good at these things. Like, you know, what are we not great at? And we felt like we weren't great at inventory management fulfillment. We gave ourselves like a C+, B- on that. And, you know, we were introduced to these guys, you know, with good reviews, and, you know, it seemed like a good fit. But we went down there and we asked all the hard questions, like, hey, this is our sales volume. This is what we're going to do. You know, how many SKUs can you hold? And it was like, oh, we can do unlimited SKUs. We can handle anything. Printing's not an issue. Distribution's not an issue. We can do it all. You know, when can you be set up? Oh, we can be set up in a week. Like, all these huge promises, which we pumped the brakes on, but they said all the right things.
It's like a girl that really wants to take you home and she didn't tell you she has herpes. Everything else was great. Oh, the herpes. I'm sorry about that. You're like, you didn't fucking tell.
I've never experienced that.
Either
I've never had a woman that really wanted to take me home. Yeah. I've had a few. I've had a few that I've had to do that too. You know what I'm saying?
Your wife.
Go ahead and drink up. Don't worry about that. That's aspirin. It's anti-inflammatory. I don't want you to have a heart attack. No, I think, you know, we went through similar experiences. I went through one in June, very similar. The forging, and you've been in business, you know, way longer than we have. I started getting fucking maniacal, like with contracts really early, because I had a couple vendors and I was like pinching pennies that really fucked me. They hung me out to dry in a big way, where it was like a month late. I'd already prepaid, you know, like. And that's those are the mistakes that you make, that it's like, woo, I'll never make that again. That one stung because now I don't have any money, you know, and I'm like pinching pennies to try to put something together, and I'm selling, you know, OBRs to try to put something together. And what I did early on was I started holding my vendors to a very tight, and I'm not saying you didn't, it was a super tight contract where it's like, okay, so what I'm going to do, if you want my business, you're going to have to stretch out on a limb just as far as I am, because if we're going to break, we're going to break together, right? Yeah. And what I did was I structured the deal where I'd say, okay, I'll give you 30% down, because they'd say, oh, we want it prepaid or we want 50 or whatever. And I go, but I want 30-day terms, the day. And I go, I'll let you decide. Tell me the date that you can deliver this. If it's a day late, I'm not paying you the rest of the money. And that's the contract. Take it or leave it. And they were like, I had a couple guys that were like, they swallowed hard. And I'm like, so you better fucking put a pin on that map and be the right date, or you're not going to get paid. And they're like, but I'll be like, I'm like, just give me the right date. That's all you got to do. Here's your contract. And I had one of the guys, one of our previous vendors, he fucking swung and missed, and he delivered on the next day. And I was like, guess what? There's my contract. And he was like, you're not going to pay? And I'm like, no, I'm not. because you're fucking late. And he's like, well, I don't, geez, man, that's like super, like the last time I spoke, you gave me your word. Like it was the mugs will be here on this date. I didn't give you that date. I'm pre-selling.
You gave it to me.
I am pre-selling things on your word. And it also happened to be on a Friday. So I'm like, the shipping that you did, it was actually Monday. So he swung and missed by almost like a full work week because it was like supposed to be on a Friday and they didn't come in until Monday, right? So that's the way it goes.
That's some cold shit, man.
So
cold as ice.
because the guy wants me to roll over and be really nice when I'm the guy that like sat there and said, you're writing this contract with yourself. I'm not writing this contract. This contract is with you, dude. Well, I can't predict the future, dude. Like, get the stuff in a week early. I don't care, but I'm not telling you the timeline to fucking put on this piece of paper. And he's like, okay. He did it. I didn't pay. Like, straight up. I was like, didn't pay. And he's like, well, Evan, I think that, we should come to terms with this. I'm like, do you want my business? Because I'm gonna continue to do business with you based on the fact that you're going to be able to recoup this. But then the next time he was late. And then I pulled all the contracts from him. So instead of him like making, a couple $100,000 throughout the year, he missed and he was missing his own dates. And then I yanked everything from him he was in my office with his wife, like tearing up. And I'm like, I don't write this contract. This is a contract with you. You're failing yourself, dude. I can't help you. But I've had 3 vendors early on that I realized I was way too nice with. And exactly that, which was they would overpromise and underdeliver. And I'm like, well, if you're saying what you're telling me exactly what you can do, here's your contract. You wrote it. I didn't. And then if you swing and miss, all I got to say is you called the shot in the stadium and you struck out. You go home a loser. Like, that's the way it goes.
That's some cold shit, man. That is some cold shit.
Cold.
Like, it is. I mean, hey, like it. Clearly, you're running an awesome organization. I don't have it in me to do that to someone. I just don't. I don't. I could we could knock 10% off, 20% off. I don't have it in me to do that to someone. I could not work with them again after that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I could not look at a guy and say, you've got to eat 70% of this. And I say
I'm sorry, it was 50.
I would
He
I would take joy in that.
Okay. I know you would.
He ate all his profit.
I say that only because, like, in 10 years of business, we've been on the side of righteousness and we fucked up.
Yeah.
And I try to have a relationship with vendors where, we can have an honest conversation about things because I know there's highs and lows.
Yeah, for sure.
We've paid people early because they needed it, and we've been behind before, And
but the one thing that differs there is when you were behind, I guarantee you had your core crew there until they couldn't stay anymore.
Yeah,
like you were trying.
Yeah.
You were trying. That's what I mean. Is this guy?
Well,
I automatically I don't see him slaving in the fucking pottery area, sweating like, oh my god, I can't produce this. Plus, he gave you the date.
Well, I mean, and I should give a little bit of backstory to this, which was the guy that I was telling you. Like, I've had 3 main vendors that have done this to the point where I'm like, this is the contract. This is what we will do. And, if a guy calls me a week out and he's like, hey, dude, this stuff's stuck in customs because we got mugs that, these mugs came in from Mexico, for instance, right? Because there's not an enamel mug manufacturer in the United States. Yeah. Well, if somebody calls me a week out and is like, dude, these things are locked in customs, I can't do anything about that. Not a problem.
That's not
incompetence.
That's
that's an act of God, is what we, totally reasonable.
Yeah.
But
or a snowstorm that holds up UPS.
Shipping, everything.
But when a dude goes black.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Well, that's what it's for.
That's the worst. When they disappear.
Yeah.
When you're asking for stuff and they disappear and they're not saying anything.
Hey, man,
you
were supposed to be here today. Nothing.
I had a guy go black on me for fucking 3.5 weeks. He had $15,000 of our money.
Oh, my God.
He went black for 3.5 weeks until I filed a PayPal dispute, and then all of a sudden my phone started ringing. Hey, man, what's going on? What's this PayPal thing all about? And I'm like, you got my money, and I don't have any of my stuff. Yeah. That's the way it works. Well, man, I'm going to get it to you. And I'm like, and I'll get you paid when I get it. That's how that's going to work. Well, man, I don't know if I'm like, dude, 3.5 weeks you went black.
Yeah.
3.5 weeks. I was like, yeah, I thought you walked with my cash.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then he's getting an attitude. Like, once again, everybody will fuck you. And then he's getting an attitude with me going, you're a fucking asshole. I'm like, dude, you have $15,000 of my money. $15,000 for our business is not an easy fucking check to write. And that was over a year ago. It definitely wasn't a fucking easy check to write. And what you're asking me to do ultimately is just trust the fact he's 2 months late at this point.
Yep.
He's 60 days late. And then he just falls off the map for fucking 3 weeks. I'm like, he pops smoke, dude.
You gotta love that when business deals go like that, and then they come at you as if you're the bad guy. It's like, give me some fucking slack, bro. And you're like, bro, you didn't let me know the dynamics of the situation and what was going on. Where the fuck my $15,000 is? Like, and that's happened. Shit, it happened to us a fucking 2 months ago.
God, it happened to us last week.
Yeah,
a guy went online on a live fucking thing and started complaining about something we didn't pay for. I scrubbed back our fucking messages and he never gave us the invoice. So he goes out and fucking slates us to the public like,
right.
Oh, these motherfuckers, they just use people. They don't pay for anything and blah, 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 blah. And it's like,
do your fucking due
dude, the
diligence.
last conversation we had, I said, cool, send me the final invoice.
Yeah.
And he didn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, the situation we're in right now, we've been pretty public about it and trying to resolve it. We had an original date of everything's going to be shipping by September 9th.
Right.
And then that went really bad, and I asked for another date, and then they said, all right, the real date is October 1st. We didn't expect your volume. Forget the fact that we told them our volume, but,
Right.
Okay, so, I sent out a video to everybody that ordered and said, hey, October 1st, and, if you want a refund, let me know. And everyone was cool about it. Hey, thanks for letting us know. And then that got missed. And then it was, all right, and it was me saying, like, please tell me when orders are going to be caught up. Like, I don't care if it's the worst date ever and it's going to piss me off. I need you to be honest. And they said November 7th. So I put a video out publicly on Ranger Up. This is what's going on. November 7th, we're going to be all caught up. And that got missed. And so, like, we're sitting here now, we parted ways with them on 5 January after they missed big time for the holidays. And there are still orders open, as you know, because you can see them in the Disruptive Intent back office, that are from August 26th, 27th, 28th,
Right.
29th, the first 4 days we were in business with these guys. And you're just like, all right, like, tell me that you're 2 weeks late.
Right.
Tell me you're a week late. But there are orders that are months old. Like, how do you even look at a customer?
Because they're fucking terrible.
But how do I look at a customer and say, here's the reason why I couldn't produce a shirt for 4 months, and also why no one is getting back to you on this. And, like right now, we've done 6 figures of refunds from the holidays. Like 6 figures. Like that is insane.
That's deafening. Like, it's like
it's-
everybody goes quiet.
Yeah.
It's from an outside perspective.
And I don't blame the customer. The customer's
God,
been,
no.
the customer's been amazing for the most part. Like, even people that want refunds are just like, hey, like, I believe in you guys. I'll order once you get your shit together. But, it's been 3 months. I'm going to need a refund. Like, no problem. But, like, sitting there going, in 10 years of business, we had 2 Better Business Bureau complaints. 2. And we resolved them quickly.
Right.
We've had 42 in the 4 months that we were with these guys.
Wow.
And we went from an A to an F.
Right.
Which we will not recover from for years.
Right.
It will be years before somebody can Google Ranger Up and get something positive. Like, it's insane. Like, it just 4 months. 10 years of work, 4 months, just like
Now we're going to move on to our next topic, revenge.
Now we're going to move on to our next topic, litigation.
Yeah, litigation.
yeah, we're gonna let the lawyers work some of that stuff out. But like, I'm not a big revenge guy right now. All I want to do is make the customer believe in us again.
Bring life back into the brand. Yeah,
You know?
and, dude. And from an outside perspective, like I don't know if a lot of people know, like we use at Article 15 Clothing the same fulfillment center that we're talking about, and essentially it came to a point where people had to fly out there to do the fucking job of the employees of the fulfillment center. Like, I got selfies from Jack Mandeville fucking packing my shirts and shit. Like, that's how fucked up these people were. And you were doing the proper things to actually mitigate this disaster that happened. But ultimately, they were so toxic and so bad that you're fucked. Either way, look at it. Like, as your friend, and I respect the shit out of you as a business owner, like, you got fucked. Like Tyrone fucking no lube fucks. Like
full fist.
Yeah, full fist.
Full
Yeah,
fist
it's,
fuck. So it's time we do the fucking back.
I'm not
Jared,
I'm not a big revenge guy. I'm not necessarily looking for revenge.
Did you miss that piece of your Italian blood?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
How the fuck did you did that not incorporate into your
You know what it
screen, or-
is? Like you have moments. Like when you're in it, you have the emotional moment where you're like, I want to fight this person.
Right.
But you spend that time thinking about these people that once we no longer became partners like this. That is my past. Now we have to deal with all the lawyer stuff, and that's what they get paid to do. But the future is here with Disruptive Intent, and it is with the Ranger Up customer. So if my time is being spent on anything but making sure that we succeed here with fulfillment and printing, and Ranger Up succeeds with making a quality product that our customers believe in and getting them to trust us again, then I am going to just go down this death spiral of toxicity.
Right.
But I thought that was an Italian brand, like you said. Like the two innate emotions are chicken marsala and revenge. Is an Italian.
Susie says she's with me.
So Susie.
Oh, is that what you're doing the cheer over there?
Yeah, she was like, tell him. Like, come on.
So Susie in a consequence-free environment would probably firebomb that place.
Susie's your wife.
Yes.
Who's fucking awesome, by the way.
And
We love
she's
Susie.
English. And she's English,
like
which
her-
is weird.
I say-
she's more Italian than I am.
Her and I get a couple sledgehammers. We go down there with some 2x4s, and we put them between the legs. And
See, JT actually got that piece of the gene.
Oh, he did.
So
Yeah.
Portuguese,
He did.
Italian.
Yeah, as many of you know, JT and I are both half Portuguese, half Italian, and share the same birthday.
I looked up linguiça recipes the other day. I think we should buy some today.
Let's get some chorizo and some linguiça.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
See, there's the Italian we know.
That's Portuguese.
No, that's Portuguese.
Whatever.
Linguiça.
It's all the
really
same.
good sausage.
I'm
It's really good
like a
sausage.
German Irish mutt, man. I don't know.
I'd still lick you.
What?
All right.
Super.
I was looking at Evan when I said
Okay.
No, you weren't.
whatever.
No, but I think it's a testament to your character, like how you're willing to try and like do everything to remedy this and bounce back as a business owner and not quit, because there's a lot of challenges that probably 90% of people would have been like, I'm done, I'm out. And
Yeah.
the
Jack
severity of
Mandeville's
this situation
watching.
like is crazy. The amount of families that are affected through your organization and how much weight is on your shoulders and stuff. But
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. And this is one of the things, the reason we're doing this show, it's not to be like, oh, this thing happened. We want all of you entrepreneurs to know this will happen to you at some point. And I'm telling you, it's crushing. Like right now, like I do feel like the walls are closing in. Like it's emotional, And
would you say that you're Han Solo, Princess Leia, and Luke Skywalker in the thing right now?
Yeah, and I don't know if C-3PO is going to get to the fucking thing in
Jack
time.
Mandeville's watching right now.
Is R2D2 going to stop it in time?
Is it going to stop? Right.
Or
are you
like,
going to get eaten by the little swamp
or
monster?
do I have R5D4 instead
Listen,
of R2D2 and he opens
Princess
the wrong
Leia
one? We all
is
get crushed.
dead. You guys need to get over it.
No, but this will happen to you. And like right now, I'm writing personal checks for things, which sucks. Like you don't want to do that. You don't want to be writing personal checks for vendors and whatnot. But sales got crushed, like just crushed. We're like, it's brutal. It's really brutal. And, you hope people start believing in you again. You hope you get it back, but you don't know. And
Right.
that is one of the things that like can happen. And everybody should know that and hopefully not make the same mistake that I made. And what I should have done with this vendor is we should have said, all right, we're going to
Case study. And
we're going to give you guys 20 SKUs and we're going to see how that goes and then build up on it and build trust. And you have to treat, like JT and I and Evan were talking about this last night. Like, you have to treat business relationships just like you treat your friends. Like when you're 20-0, you think everybody's your friend because you drink with them, you party with them. You're like,
man,
yeah,
you could sleep in my wife's bed.
yeah,
bro. You're cool. You're cool.
But then by the time you hit 30, you realize that most of those people are not really your friend. They're acquaintances. Maybe they're good to have a drink with or whatever, but your pool of friends gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And so, like, my friend pool at my age now is small. Like, the people that I truly trust with everything, the people that know all my shit, the good stuff, the bad stuff. And you've got to treat vendors the same way. Like, you give them a little bit, you figure out if you can trust them. You give them a little more, you figure out if you can trust them. We have vendors that are amazing, and I actually want to give one a shout out. That's EY Studios. They design our website,
Right.
and they did like $20,000 worth of work connecting us to this vendor, and it all went wrong. And then we had to do to accommodate this vendor. We had to do, after being on the Yahoo platform for 10 years. They told us there was no way they were going to be able to fulfill orders unless we jumped to another platform. So 2 weeks out from Black Friday, we went from Yahoo, 10 years on Yahoo, to BigCommerce. And they did a lot of that work straight up for free. And they were like, bro, he just said, I can't charge you this whole 20 grand because it was a waste of 20 grand. And I know it. And he's calling me like every few days, Eric Yongi from EY Studios, and is like, what can I do? How can I help? Like, let's get this back. Like, that's a partner.
Yeah.
There aren't a lot of partners. There's a whole lot of vendors that want to buy stuff or sell stuff to you, do work, give you, get paid $5 grand a month to do whatever service.
Right.
But the partners are the people you need to hang on to.
Yeah, the partners are the ones that pull you out of the burning car.
Yes.
The acquaintances are the
Yes.
assholes who film it on social media and watch you fucking burn to death.
Yeah. And you see it,
And there's a lot more spectators than there are than the motherfucker that's going to pull you out of the car.
Absolutely. And, not to kiss your asses, but this happened and you guys were there and were like, how can I help? There are other military apparel brands out there that posted every day on Ranger Up. It was like, oh, these guys are frauds, go to the Better Business Bureau and complain about them. These guys are frauds. Here's a link to Trustpilot. Complain about them. Actively going after us.
Right.
Actively taking advantage of a bad situation, to hurt us. And they did us injury. And I will remember it. That's where the Italian part of me does still exist. Like,
You remember.
I will remember that.
Yep.
And there
Green shots, motherfuckers.
and there will be vengeance.
Just let me out of the box.
No.
Jack in the Box?
That's a super scary thing when JT gets out of the box.
Yeah.
Like, it's like,
There's cornrows and like insults.
I've
flying.
recruited an army.
Yeah.
no,
But
it's beautiful.
let's not just talk about what's happened to me. You've had some recent fun as well.
I think that like the history we've gotten into it a couple times. The history of BlackRifle coffee and we were kind of the first tactical coffee guys. I mean, there was a couple other guys out there that were doing it, but
And some good
ultimately-
dudes. There's
yeah,
some
great,
good dudes.
great dudes.
Yeah.
Like great dudes.
Yep.
Like I've never like encroached on their copyrights or anything like that. Like even if we see something eerily similar, we're like fucking hard left herd, man. Like that's not the way business can go, or that's not the way it should go.
Because in the long run, it doesn't matter. Like,
Doesn't.
Matt, how many conversations have you and I had about designs?
All the time. I text Nick all the time. Like, perfect example.
He's
I'm
wearing
good
a
at
shirt.
war. when we were running that design, I was like, fuck, I think RU has this. So I texted you the design. I said, is this clear? Can I do this? And you're like, that's far enough from like, cool, man. Like, those are what adults would do. But it's like Evan's saying, it's happened. Fuck, it happened 2 days ago with Article 15. Someone literally plagiarized a brand that I created
in
a line and started their own clothing company.
Forever Free Clothing Company.
You know, and things like that. Like, there's
we have but 14 shirts that say Forever Free on them.
And like, as a mistake as business owners, you know, we don't have that copyrighted. So it's like technically, but the creative for the last 2 years, there's some justification in that. But it's just like, why?
That's a service mark. You can definitely resolve that. But yeah, that sucks.
But it's just like this. There's enough room in the space for everybody. Like people want to go buy RU shirts. They want to buy Article 15. Just be fucking creative and be original. You don't have to plagiarize. Like there's always going to be mild crossover, right? Because it all exists within the same culture of like
Tora Bora.
We like guns.
The Tora Bora clothing. I've reposted their stuff on Art 15's page because it was cool. And it wasn't a fucking ripoff of anybody.
The day Espresso Le Bear coffee guy, I'm texting him right now. I was texting Brandon Buttrey from Counter-Strike Coffee yesterday. There's no ill will because like if we have any issues, it's like, hey dude, like what's going on? Like sorry, you know, but basically what we dealt with in the last 3 years is people have seen like the rise of BlackRifle coffee, and we've had big companies, 9 Line Apparel, as we went through that with them, and I'm just going to fucking call them out. They stole everything. Fucking fonts.
Everything.
The fucking bag design,
the logo, the bag design, the
Black
fonts.
Death coffee, and it wasn't until I told these guys, Matt Best is my fucking business partner, and then all of a sudden Danny Merritt got a fucking conscience and decided that he was going to do the right thing and not try to dump truck my little company because he's a big bad MP officer. Fuck that guy.
Jesus.
I don't give a fuck.
I'm with Evan too because he called me like a fucking asshole.
Yeah,
and then
he called me like a fucking asshole.
And he tried to pretend, oh man, you know, we didn't know. Shut the fuck up, Danny.
He fucking knew everything. He told me that.
Yeah.
And it's like, enough is enough because I'm just going to start calling spades spades. It's like, you want to fucking steal my shit? Mount up, motherfucker, because it's time to roll.
Yeah.
Well, this goes back to the last episode with the rant you went on. We were talking about just like the ethics in business, and it's not that hard to act morally. You're going to make mistakes, but as long as you're just like on a somewhat of a moral ground, I'm not going to plagiarize, I'm not going to steal, I'm not going to lie and cheat. We can all coexist. It's pretty fucking easy, but people have this like, they just can't. I don't understand it. It's every fucking day, and you know, those are the challenges you face in business, and obviously it's always going to happen. No matter how much you complain or talk shit to people, they're going to try to take you and yours because they see success, and out of jealousy, they act in these like impulses. And
there's really two kinds of business people.
Yeah.
People that like to create, like to do something, like to produce something that's of value, and people that are envious and feel like you don't deserve what you've done, and they want to just take it. Yeah. And they're indignant when you push back.
Right.
You know, so I can think of like, you know, people that like, you know, we did a shirt that was eerily similar to something that GoRuck had done. We had no idea. At the time, I didn't even know who GoRuck was. And the dude was so cool, reached out to me and was like, look, man, like, I know that we don't really have this protected. Right. But, you know, this is how we make money. This is the shirt keeping the lights on. And like, if you guys do it, like no one's going to buy it from us. And I was like, oh shit, man, I'm so sorry. Like I didn't know. Pulled the shirt immediately.
Yeah.
Like
no. I thought what you're supposed to do is run all 150 that you printed and then say, oh, we'll address that cease and desist in about 3 months when all my inventory's done. But you know who you are, motherfucker.
Don't worry.
We've all had that happen.
And don't worry. There's a big dark looming cloud.
There's a winter is coming.
Fucking winter is coming, fellas.
It's snowing outside. It's already fucking winter.
It's kind of like a coming out party in a way.
Yeah.
But just, you know, like
sorry.
Scroll Factory, great dudes.
Yeah. Great fucking dudes.
You know,
1776 United.
1776, great dudes.
Great guys.
They
commented on one of our shirts recently and said, I love
Tora
that
Bora
design.
Clothing Company. Love them.
Oscar Mike, Noah Courier at Oscar Mike, great guys. You know, like there's some really good people
Notice
out
there's
there.
some we aren't naming.
You know, no, I mean, I don't even want to get into a thing where like if we didn't name you that you're bad.
No,
or
not
like,
at all.
You know,
because there's a ton of them out there.
But there are people I've had really good conversations with where we can all just call each other up and be like, hey, this, you know, I don't know if you saw this. And everybody's cool about it.
everybody.
But there's gonna, like, again, that goes back to the thing of crossover. It's just addressing it like an adult. Like, there's gonna be certain times where, like, I did a shirt that says I have a pistol. You make one that says I have a pistol. You're like, oh fuck, okay, you launched that earlier. Yeah. And sometimes it's even like, run that design. We don't even care.
Well,
you know.
You know, the thing with that, we've been in business for 10 years, so there's almost no topic we haven't done.
Right.
You know,
you guys,
like you know, Inkfidel just did like the MRE image. Right, we did that in 2007. I'm not going to call them up and be like, "Bro, we did this in 2007," because it's a universal thing.
Right.
You know, like you know, anybody can use, you know, join or die. Anybody can use don't tread on me. You know, it's when you take, like, I mean, I've had people like where Jack or I have created a quote, like we've written the whole thing out. Jack wrote a poem once that went on the back of a shirt. And somebody produced that shirt, and they were like, "Bro, you don't own this writing." It was like, actually, we do.
Right.
It's my mother's maiden name and social security number.
It says Nick Palmisciano underneath the quote and on your shirt. You know?
But those are all, like, collectively, those are challenges, I think, as business owners you face.
But this has happened habitually.
Right.
Like, it's habitually. I mean, it's Black Raven Coffee Company. Black Raven Coffee Company is no better than half these dudes. They copy and pasted, forgetting to change
their
the rifle from the copyright. And it's like when we called him, I was like, bro,
he would not admit it.
He's like, I didn't know anything about it. I'm like, bro, my coffee company is named in your copy. Like you didn't even change that.
Laziness at its finest.
You're the worst cheater ever.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm like, fucking try. That's all. I mean, the lack of ingenuity, it's almost like you want to get caught. And the funny thing is when you call these guys, they get fucking hostile.
They get
super
they get
fucking
aggressive.
hostile. It's like, guys, honestly, I don't want to be a dick, but come on, man. And I mean, but that's the same response every time I've had to call one of these dudes.
Yep.
I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, really? Because you didn't change my coffee name from your website. Wow, we didn't even know you existed. Are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious right now?
Did you see the video Matt just did that got 15 million views? Like you've never seen us before, and you're in the military space?
And then we scrolled through their feed, and they liked and shared one of our videos 2 months ago. And it's like, are you fucking high? Like,
it makes me laugh.
Everybody will fuck you. And I'm not saying that like you mitigate that. With my business partner, he used to always say, like, contract, keep honest people honest. That's all it is. And like I'm getting worn out, man. Like I'm getting worn out. We went through this for a couple days because, you know, some dude got on Fox with Make Coffee Great Again yesterday, and it's like, we've had that apparel line for 2 months. I personally know the guy, and he decided to jump on Fox and use our tagline. Well, that's great, dude. You know what? Put in your mouthpiece. It's going to be fucking rough. Like, you better put it in, because it ain't going to be a fucking easy ride.
But that's, again, it goes back to that where scenarios like that will happen out of pure luck, right? But then when you approach these individuals, they get hostile and then start blaming you like you're a piece of shit and don't want people to succeed. And you're like, it's the complete opposite. I want you to succeed, but just not with my name.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, you're just trying to keep the little guy down. You don't want anybody to succeed.
We're fucking little.
We're all little. We're all small businesses. You know, and like, I can't tell you how many people, and I know all of you guys have done the same. I've been on the phone.
That you just don't want to breathe. Oh, wait.
No, no, but I have given time to competitors, you know, startups, like, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to avoid.
I actually referenced you on the last podcast is when you'd shared my Navy SEAL versus Army Ranger rap battle or whatever, and then we were like, hey, we're starting a clothing line, just so you know. And then you're like, awesome, sweet, here's some advice. And we're like, oh fuck, Nick's cool. And you helped us out with a lot of issues we were early on with.
Because it's not a zero-sum game,
right?
You know, like, you guys make really good stuff that isn't what I laugh my ass off at fuck lettuce. Ranger Up's never gonna make a fuck lettuce t-shirt.
What about Meat Pony?
What about fuck cabbage? I think that's acceptable.
I hate.
So I will.
You could run.
I'm
fuck
not
cabbage.
going to lie to you. I'm not going to mention any names, but one of our designers was like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And it said "fuck kale," and like Jack was like, "I'm going to slap you." I'm actually
slap your stupid face.
I'm going to slap you.
I actually wouldn't have cared about that.
Yeah, that would have been funny.
No,
it's funny.
I
Run it.
cared. I was like, "What Are you fucking kidding me? Are we?
We should update. We should update. We should do fuck lettuce too. Why haven't we done that yet?
I don't know.
We should do fuck lettuce too.
The point is, I think you guys were the first ones that did something markedly different than what we were doing. Right? Like everybody else.
We're super.
We went straight edgy.
You went straight. I mean,
borderline
zero
t-shirt.
fucks given.
Yeah.
That's literally one of our shirts. It says fuck on it. Like zero fucks given.
Yeah.
And that, which is also being copied.
Buy it. Article 15.
Which is also being copied right now.
Isn't that a brand
multiple,
now? It's a brand now.
Yeah.
Is it?
I think there is a brand. With that statement, like, those things don't involve me. Everybody said zero fucks given at some point. We didn't create it.
But I think that same design.
That was like,
it's the same
we
design.
said,
I saw that, yeah.
We came out with the try standing on this flag, and then we said we didn't care if anybody else did that after us because we didn't feel that we owned that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it was
but
like
forever,
everybody should
But
do a
forever
version.
free you own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forever free you own. That's, unapologetically American we own.
Right.
But guess who's selling it right now? Breitbart.
Right.
Come on, guys. Come on.
We could probably stop that.
Yeah, I'm talking to the CEO. I'm trying to be nice about it.
Really?
But
We can give him a show of force.
Why can't we be friends?
but it's just like, it's like, come on, guys. Like, really?
I think we should. I think we're going to go down the negative rabbit hole. I really, it's good. Don't get me wrong. I like it. I just think like we should say. I should say one thing, which is I'm inspired and motivated by the good men of this fucking industry every day.
Yeah.
And there is an army of high quality, ethical, veteran entrepreneurs that are chomping at the bit at their shot. And there's a lot of fucking shitbags that try to keep them down. Well, I'll tell you what, man, like it's a new era. You've got a bunch of guys that are getting out. They're ETSing. Our mission is to inspire entrepreneurship and help the guys, emancipate themselves from the military and develop a continuing mission. So, I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
And even more than that, like I'll be careful not to officer speech here.
Yeah, please.
But I really think that like military vets in particular need to realize that our influence is slipping away with every year that goes by. So, I've said this before, but anytime I get a chance to say it, World War II, 11% of the population served, right? Vietnam, 4.3% of the population served. This generation, less than 0.5%, 0.45% as of a couple years ago served. And so for us to have influence, for us to get our voice heard, to make sure that we don't go to wars that have no plan, to make sure that economic policy is intelligent, to make sure that the veteran matters to the general population, we have to be better than any generation has ever been before. We have to be better at business. We have to create bigger businesses with more influence. We have to be in politics. We have to be in the arts. Like, we have to be everywhere, and we have to be 100 times as good, as big, as successful as previous generations, just to maintain the same influence, never mind garner more influence. If we don't do that, then going forward, you will have a Congress, a business world that does not know what it means to be in harm's way, the sacrifices associated with that, and they will make stupid decisions over and over and over again that will affect future 18, 19, 20-year-old kids that want to serve their country. Like, we have to be good, and we have to help people that are better than us get there.
Hashtag West Point.
Hashtag West Point.
I absolutely agree with that, dude. And
Hashtag lead inspire.
lead inspire.
Hashtag
Tank.
Hashtag
Tank machine.
tank
I know.
machine.
There's some motivation going on in this room.
It's like that's the seat. That's the hot seat.
That's the hot seat. That's the
hot seat.
motivational
It's a hot
seat.
seat. I gotta put his light together though. Soon
Yeah,
it'll be the hot
how
seat.
come I don't have a light?
Yeah, I think,
Well,
Evan, it is easy to talk about the negative because we deal with it every day. But like on the point you made, there's some of the most talented, creative, intelligent people that I've ever met are in the veteran community and like inspire me to like be a better human, like holistically across the board. Was it viscerally? So I think when we talk about the negative, it's because we deal with these issues every day and we're trying to grow and still maintain our businesses, and you have to address these fucking assholes. But conversely, there's a massive part of the veteran community, the majority of it, that are awesome, talented people.
Right.
They're just searching for that goal, and that's ultimately like why we've all collectively come together with like Disruptive Intent and these other things is because we want to inspire, whether that's to start their own coffee company, apparel company, or to go on social media and try to entertain or whatever the course. Like we're all about that. And like I enjoy it. When I see people do like a walkthrough video and stuff, it's like, that's funny.
Yeah.
Like that's awesome, man. I didn't create that, but it like they watched my shit and they like it. So go do you, man. Be you, because you're not me and I'm not you. So I'm totally fine with you having that creative outlet.
Yeah. And there's a couple out there that are like really well done.
Yeah.
Good job, dude.
Fuck yeah,
like
dude.
fucking A,
Yeah.
right on. It's funny. Like I was thinking about this morning. I got
Yeah, like,
up.
I'm cheering on like Donnie O'Malley and Vet TV. Like I hope he kicks ass. Like
Yeah.
that's
We
awesome.
need to have Donnie O'Malley on the show. If any of you guys know Donnie O'Malley, tell me he should go on the show.
I can text him.
I just
I was like, what?
Yeah,
I just want
text
him to get flooded.
Yeah.
So then he texts me and says, "Oh, you fucking dick."
Yeah,
Donnie's
it's like
cool, dude.
every day, man. I roll, I roll out of bed and I check my phone, and if Rob has texted me a picture in the morning,
just go,
my heart
"Oh."
fucking sinks into the bottom
Just,
of my
yeah.
fucking chest.
I'm like, ugh.
So I'm like, what the fuck is gonna go on today with these fucking idiots?
But dude, to speak on that, dude, real quick, when those people that like plagiarize and do all these things, I don't know about you, but it fucking motivates me because it's someone
Yeah.
when they like steal something that I created or we created, it just makes me go, cool, you stole that. I'm going to recreate something better and continue on with being
Yeah.
creative while you fucking sit in my goddamn sawdust, bitch. Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
You have to.
Steal away because you're inspiring me to be better. So, cool. Like,
You have to.
I was telling my wife that today. I was like, I've been on a light jog, been on a light jog.
You haven't
When
seen shit yet.
when we run, man, we're in a different dimension actually. like motherfuckers, like you think it's hard to keep up with us or even like touch us right now.
Just wait.
Give us another quarter. It's like good luck, fellas. Like I just have to say like good luck, and then by that time it's like we'll have a super nice, robust legal team that like no shit. I'm gonna steal a Bert Kuntzism here. We're gonna drop fucking legal smoke hammers on fools that come at us next time. It's not gonna be a pretty sight. And I'm not trying to be like boastful or something like that. It's just like, guys, we're trotting at this point, and we built such a fucking incredible team where we're pulling people in because we're building a fucking island. And then Rob and I and everybody here, we call it a pirate ship. It's like we're building a fucking ship and we're sailing away from the people in the past and that have basically fucked us.
Yeah.
And said,
Fucked with us.
right on, let's put the cannons in the side. Let's go take our own little country.
But as we grow, we've been bringing on like these
Yeah.
new, young, talented entrepreneurs. Like I'll use Mod for an example. Young Army officer, like started out kind of a lower position and is just growing into this like fucking amazing manager. And as we grow, he'll probably find himself in an executive role and stuff. And it's super cool to see. I forget how old I'm getting now, but
30.
not
You're
you
30
guys.
years
Not
old.
you guys.
Yeah,
old,
you're
but-
not Nick and Evan old.
Right.
you know?
No, that's super old. But like
Super old.
having the ability
I'm
to
a
see-
catch for Evan.
But having the ability to see these young guys get out and become part of business is super awesome, man. You get young catch? That's disgusting.
Yeah, I am. I'm his
right.
sweet little 31.
Yeah, should we wrap this up?
Let's wrap it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, from Salt Lake City, this is Black-Hearted.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
Black Rifle Coffee Company, along with Arson Wave, would like to thank you for tuning in to Black-Hearted. Have a great fucking day.